Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective, the show where we get extraordinaires from all over the globe to come and chat with everybody. That's you, me, anybody else that's happened to be watching or listening about their pivotal ways, their tips and tricks, any ideas they have, things they use that are helping people to level up so you can adopt, adapt, and improve personally and professionally. So, of course, I'm here. My name's Elliot Brown with my co-host
Adrian.
And our guest, Asana Pro Extraordinaire, Bastien Siebman.
So you actually speak French, Elliot?
Oui.
We should do that in French.
We both speak French, especially after a couple of bottles of wine. Yeah, definitely.
Je parle un peu de français, but I've forgotten a lot of it. And if I was to try and present in French, it would be very street French, my friend.
Okay.
Mon ami. How are you, Bastien?
I'm fine. It's actually the first time I'm doing a live event in English.
Is it?
So it's very interesting, yeah.
So it's a premiere.
It is.
Premiere. I can guarantee you're going to do a way better job than if I tried to do it in French. But maybe at some stage, maybe we'll slip in some French, or maybe not. But whereabouts are you, Bastien? You're in a pretty lovely part of the world, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in France, in the mountains, just between France and Switzerland.
Very, very nice, and the weather's bit warm down there as well, isn't it? We're all getting similar temperatures over here in Europe.
Yeah, just like everyone else. Yeah.
yeah, nice. So, are you hotter than you look? Because you don't look too bad. Have you got a fan blowing up at you, or are you just you're okay? Because I've got a fan.
No, I have the computer blowing hot from the corner there, so it's going to be sweaty in a couple of minutes, I think.
Well, we're not going to go through quickly just to make it easy for you. We want to make you sweat. No, I'm joking. So we're gonna be chat, and just before we started recording, I wanted the right terminology about this. So we're calling these management tools, and is that right, Adrian, Bastien?
Yeah, work management tools.
Yeah. Work management tools. So I was calling it a project management tool. So this is an app, a tool, a bit of software that people can use. In fact, do you know what, Bastien? You tell us what Asana is and tell us what you do. It'll be way easier than me just fumbling through the whole thing, to be fair.
Yeah, so Asana is a work management tool, so allowing you to manage not only project, but also people, also teams. You can have personal tasks in there. You can manage the workload of everyone. So it's just not just project management, but work management as a whole. And from recently, you can also have the goals of the company inside the tool. So you can have actual employees see how their work impact the company goals. So it goes beyond just the project.
Very, very cool. I like that. I mean, listen, if people haven't heard of Asana, if you guys haven't heard of Asana, then you may have heard of Trello, Monday as well.
Monday.com, Airtable, whatever you can think. Excel, some people still use Excel for things. So yeah.
Or
emails.
OneNote is a very, very basic version, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we're swearing using these other names, aren't we, Bastien? That's not right. Because you're a big lover, you're an advocate for Asana. And
I do. I love Asana. I do everything with Asana, and I actually organized my wedding with Asana.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. It was nice.
We need to get a bit more details about that. But just before we do that, maybe Elliot, you want to say hi to Anne-Marie, because we have Anne-Marie there.
I will. Hi, Anne-Marie. Hi, Anne-Marie Wickham's joined us. She's local. How you doing? Thanks very much for joining. And she said hello to you, Bastien, as well, and to us. And hey, Georgie. I'm not quite sure where Georgie is, but maybe he's watching as well.
I think he was gorgeous. Probably that's why he just mixed up the words. Yeah,
we're all gorgeous. We're all gorgeous. But whether you're watching or listening, thanks very much for joining us. And if you've got any questions, then feel free to drop them in the message, and we'll try and answer them best we can, or give you a shout out as well. So So you organised your wedding with Asana. I mean, that really is using it to its nth degree, isn't it? I mean, were you the bridezilla then, Bastien?
No, I think it worked nice. I had the entire agenda for the day, and I had people tagged on each task, and they could actually filter the view to see the things they were supposed to do for the day, because I didn't want to do anything that day, just enjoy the day. And I think it worked pretty well.
Very cool. That's I mean, listen, I suppose in essence it's a whole project, isn't it? Really, you know, it's virtually, you've got lots of different people doing different things. It's actually quite a good idea. So tell us what you do then. So you train people up, you coach them in Asana, and show them the best ways of using this, right? Because these tools are not the easiest at times. There's lots of different elements, and to use them right and effectively, you can learn yourself, and there is stuff on YouTube, but having somebody like yourself is paramount in getting these things to work right.
Yeah, the thing is, those kind of tools, they seem easy when you come in and you just create a few tasks and a few projects, and that seems easy. But when you try to onboard 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, and you're starting to scale, then the setup you had at the beginning needs to make sense. It has to be the right setup, because you can't really change in the middle. And what's good about Asana is, what's good and bad at the same time, is you can do exactly the same thing with 10 different approaches. So you need to have the right one, and you need to know in advance that what you're doing right now will not scale later. And that's why you need certified pro, which are Asana consultants, to help you design the best system so that it works, it's fun to use, it doesn't overwhelm people, it gives nice overview to the managing partners, all of this together.
Listen, Adrian is, as I said before we started recording, definitely the more analytical out of the two of us, and gets this sort of, you know, engineering mind to get these things to work well. I'm a bit more creative. You know, it's not that I don't have the other side, but definitely have maybe that sort of a more creative and almost a lack of understanding. I get, as you talked about, overwhelmed. I get a bit confused by these things, okay? And I'm sure that I'm not the only person. I remember looking at Trello 2 years ago, way before I actually needed to use it, to be fair, and it just blew, my head went like this. So how do you work with people like that are maybe like myself, and don't have an Adrian over here, don't have an Adrian with them that can maybe help them to look at that and sort of, you know, chunk things down, so to speak?
Yeah, I try to explain what are the benefits of the tool, and depending on the people, it's not the same benefits. So for example, if you have enough of your boss coming to tap on your shoulder to give you things to do, then I will explain that Asana would be better, because your boss will be able to see what you already have on your plate, and then you'll be able to say, okay, you want me to do this, but I already have this, this, and this, so where does it go in the priority list? And then you ask your boss to actually decide, instead of having someone saying, this is urgent, this is urgent, this is also urgent, this is even more urgent. So you can have your boss saying, here's the list, and you can have people see all the things you do on a daily basis and actually show how important you are within the company. Right.
Okay. Okay, I sort of get it. I sort of get that, but it's setting it up though. I mean, do you sort of walk them through the setup process of things? Do you off screen and off the actual, the bit of software? Do you have to sort of go through the elements first with them and sort of get them to maybe visualize it before you start putting it on the screen? Because I'm quite visual. I've got like a whiteboard. I work on that as opposed to on a smaller screen. I prefer to have a big screen, I suppose, would work. What do you do? What would be the thought process you would go through from getting somebody in that doesn't know what the hell they're doing and has got a project they need to do? Like, I don't know. Let's choose a subject. Adrian, what do you reckon?
Well, I would say, for example, if we go into this a bit deeper, let's say we have an e-commerce shop, right, on Shopify, for example, or something like that. So we need. What do you do when you need some content creation or content calendar to be included in Asana, some graphic design work, maybe some social media marketing work, and all those kind of stuff, about 2-3 topics that you need in a regular e-commerce business.
Yeah, the first step would be to understand what's the ecosystem and the dynamics of the company. So how many are you? Are you working with freelancers? How many employees do you have?
We're working with freelancers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's let's say there's outside teams and we want to try and pull everything together to manage it, because this is a world where this is now going on quite a lot. In fact,
the reason why I'm saying that is just because I work with some clients, and that's usually the structure that they have. They're about either a couple or just 2-3 people in the company who are on the company, and they just outsource this to freelancers, and usually they're about between 3 and 5 freelancers, So that's why I'm giving this example, because that's what I meant the most.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. And then you need to understand what are the tools the company already uses. So are you using email? Are you using Slack? Are you using other tools to understand the kind of company you are right now? And also understand, why do you need a tool like Asana? Sometimes the boss wants to micromanage everyone, and they think that Asana can help them see what's going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes the boss is fed up of being asked to do anything or to check on everything, so they want to delegate everything. So depending on the goal, then the answer is going to be a bit different. And then you need to understand, sometimes the clients expect you to create all the project and the workflows like yourself on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they just want to be trained and do that themselves afterwards. And sometimes they want them to hold their end and do that with them. So depending on the people you have in the company, and if they have someone dedicated to Asana, you have a different approach. And then you usually focus on one workflow, which is the one that's going to provide the biggest value within the company, without involving everyone. So you try to find just a couple of people that like new tools and new apps, and find a workflow that will help them save time and save money. You implement that, and then you implement a second workflow, a third one, fourth one, and then you build from there within the company.
Like an ecosystem already, basically, when you build those flows. Yeah.
And guys, this sounds really, really confusing to me. I'm confused.
Yeah, I knew this is going to happen, so that's why probably I would like to go back a bit to the wedding, when you planned your wedding to Asana.
Let's use that as an analogy, because that's actually quite where people can maybe understand that better, apart from me.
So people who are not very technical, or people that have not really used things like that in the past, this is a very common situation in people's lives, and I think probably it will help them understand things a bit better. So if we take that, we could just ask you, so for example, why did you decide to use Asana for this, for your wedding, and you have not used the wedding planner? Just
because, like you said earlier, the wedding is a project like any other. So you have all the preparation for the wedding, you have the day of the wedding, and you have all the things you have to do afterwards, like thanking people and everything. So it's actually a project with different stages.
Sure.
Yeah, so you have stages and different people as well involved in those stages, I suppose.
Yeah, involved. And it's basically a list of tasks. So when you prepare the wedding, you discuss with your wife, and you say, oh, we need to remember to do this, and remember to do this, and remember to do this. So you start writing on a paper, and then you write again, and it's a bit messy, and you don't remember who was supposed to do what in the list. So slowly you arrive at the conclusion that it would be better to have an actual tool to do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You went on mute. So.
That's right. We didn't want to do any work on the actual day, so we wanted to delegate a couple of things, and I think it was nice to have the exact agenda of the day and be able to give that agenda to people, and so they only see the things they were supposed to do at which time. And I think a tool like Asana was a good way to do this. I could have done exactly the same with a Word document or a Google Doc, but it was easier to work with. And in Asana, you can, for example, if you want to discuss about the flowers, you can have a discussion in Asana. You can have comments instead of having emails and emails and emails and emails, and you're mixing the subject, and it's very complicated to follow.
Right. So you've in essence got a sort of a Slack built into it, have you? Sort of Slack, or if people don't know what Slack is, like a messenger system basically as well. So you've got a constant conversation going on, as well as your projects, your separate projects that all obviously build into, or separate tasks that build into one project, right?
Yeah, and actually you're having, instead of having a big messy conversation like you have in email, instead of that, you have very specific focused discussion on a very single small task. So it's a lot of different small discussions happening at the exact location where the work is, with the context you need, instead of having an email chain with all the mess you have inside.
I get you.
And on the top, so everything basically stays there as well. For some people, you can also add attachments like either documents, or PDFs, photos, whatever you want, images, stuff like that. You can add in there. Everything is saved. So it's very important to have a history that you can track, and see exactly what happened, where's the stage of that task, So I suppose that's
and if you need to marry someone again, you can still go back to the project and copy the project and start again.
So at your second wedding, you just copy the first Asana thing that you've done, and it will be fine.
You tweak a little and you're good to go.
Somebody's asked, is Asana, is this the spelling? Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Asana,
my mum says hi, and she says hi to Adrian. And
hello, Elliot's mum.
Mum, it's Bastien. It's not just guest. How rude. big love, Mum. And Cody said here, hi, Cody. Thanks very much for watching. Okay, cool. So that may give people a bit of an idea of how that works. In essence, it's a way. If you've got a big project, if in any business, let's, for example, a lot of people build, want to have a website built, and they might want to have some input into that website, but they've got a developer like yourself that will also be involved, and they might have a design team that they want to put into that conversation, and there may be a couple of directors that have got a couple of different, views and things, or there might be somebody that's writing some information to go in there. So now you've already started building, and I'm just thinking about something that might work here, that people might go, okay, yeah, I've done that in my business, and actually it's got a bit messy and they haven't got the website they wanted. This happens a lot, right, Bastien? A lot of developers aren't designers, a lot of designers aren't developers, yet they all both try and do each other's jobs sometimes. And it can get quite messy. If the instructions aren't quite right, you don't have track of a conversation, it gets to a point of the job where it's all suddenly starting to go wrong, or you're not getting what you want. And I'm sort of speaking from experience here, to be fair. But a tool like that, I think, negates the need to have, as you said, maybe micromanaging, but also I think it stops there being so many errors, and it saves a lot of time. I think is probably the biggest thing. So errors.
Yeah, and it does save time, especially when you look at a feature called templates, because in Asana you can create, any project can become a template, and then you can reuse the exact same template. So if you're doing a marketing campaign, the first time you define the steps, then you run the campaign, you look at the errors you made, you refine the steps, and then the next campaign will be better because you have a list of steps. And then you do that again and again and again. And then by your 100th campaign, the steps are very clear. Everything is well defined. Everything is pre-assigned to people. You already know how long things are going to take. You have dependencies between the tasks. So whenever someone completes a task, it will notify the next person. And then it just goes streamline everything.
Right. Okay. And what sort of businesses do you tend to work with, Bastien? What sort of size companies do you work with? Is it all sizes? Is there a particular sort of size of business or company that uses it?
And also, what type of industries as well? Because I'll be curious about that.
Yeah.
Actually, the industries, I have a list on my website, and you just check that out. It's very, very, very different industries. I had insurance, marketing, e-commerce, construction, law, finance, music, food. Just a big list of very different businesses, because everyone has a project.
Yeah, the reason why I asked you about the industry is just because that's what I wanted to show to our listeners, and all this. Everyone, this can be applied in absolutely any industry. It doesn't really matter where you are, starting from your personal life and going up to banking, finance, insurance, marketing, e-commerce, construction, like you said, anything that you have doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And also the size doesn't really matter, in my opinion, because you never have a project involving 3,000 people. You just have 300 projects involving 30 people. So it can all be broken down to small projects that you move from one team to another. So, yeah.
Exactly. Or you maybe include just the actually main project managers on specific tasks or specific categories that they have. Yeah.
But would you not then have the people underneath those managers if they're part of it as well? Is that not how you do it? Would you not have as many people as you could in there, or do you try and minimize the amount of people that are utilizing the software or are linked in with the project?
I think if you use that system of dependencies and people being notified automatically, you can have as many people as you want, because people just get notified when they need to start working. They don't need to have the bigger picture themselves. They just need to know, okay, today I need to create that content for whatever's needed from me. So if you have that notification chain, I think you can have actually big teams working together, but that requires to have a very nice template at the beginning and everything beautifully laid out to make sure they don't have any problems along the way.
And that's what you help with, is it?
Yeah, I train, I do some audits when the client already created some stuff. So I audit what they already have, and I try creating the best workflows for their company. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So why Asana then? I mean, I know you're in love with it, and you it's better than anything else. And we sort of Adrian almost asked this beforehand, but I mean, there's others on the market, right? And we're not here to talk about those really, but I am curious the benefits of that of Asana over let's something like Trello, for example. Is it easier to use? Is it more comprehensive?
Yeah, actually, it's a funny example because there's a joke that Trello is a feature of Asana.
Right.
Because in Asana you have the board layout like Trello. So basically you just put Trello and you put a lot of things around and you have Asana.
Right. Okay.
Because I've seen many people like the board view, but also many people like the list view and the calendar and the timeline. So if you're not a board person, then I think you're going to be pretty sad inside Trello. But in Asana, any project can be seen in 4 different layouts: list, board, timeline, calendar. So depending on the project, the layout as a board might make sense, and sometimes it doesn't make any sense because you don't have any stages, just have a list of stuff to do.
What do you mean by board? Could you explain this? Just explain this.
It's a Kanban board with columns, and the cards you move from one column to another.
Right. Like, for example, things to do, in progress, and done, for example, SED. So that's a board with just three columns. So things to do, it's a column. In progress, it's another column, and done, it's the third column, right? And that's how it looks like.
And the other three are, explain those to me if you don't mind.
So in Asana, it's the list. So basically, things are shown as a list instead of columns.
Okay.
And the third one is a calendar. So any task with a date is shown in the calendar, and the timeline is a Gantt chart where you have dependencies between the task, and you can have the entire project as a chart, as a timeline.
Right. And you can literally choose which view suits you, which one you want to look at at any time.
Yeah, you can change. You can have management look at the timeline, and you can have the team doing the work just look at the list or look at the board. But depending on the project, there's a perfect view for everyone.
I like see now that I like. That's a great feature because I've looked at a few things, and as Adrian knows, I look at and I get a bit freaked out. I don't know what it is. I've got some sort of weird version of ADHD. I don't know what it is, right? But it freaks me out. Charts and forms and things like that, they freak me out a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, if you've got a choice, and I can't be the only person like that, I think that's maybe a creative. I don't know whether that's I don't know what it is, but it's a strange thing I've got. I'd love to hear from other people if they do get that as well, because as much as I really want to find something I can work with, whenever I look at them, my head goes and I can't get my head around it. Adrian knows what I'm like, don't you, Adrian?
Yes, yeah, I know very well, yeah.
And I'm definitely getting better. I'm getting more used to looking at these things, and I'm quite a modern guy. It's not like I don't understand these things or I don't get the theory. I do. I get the theory. I probably get the theory more than putting it in practice. But do you find that a lot? Do you work with people that just don't really understand it to start off with, and you've almost got to put it in idiot terms to help them?
Yes, actually part of my work to make sure that the workflow are easy to work with. They are fun to use. I need to make sure that the client use short names for tasks, for project, clear names, use emojis when that makes sense.
Right.
Use the colors a lot. You don't put a tag in red unless it's critical or urgent or dangerous. Like red, green, those are very important colors. So I need to make sure that the client understand the name, the colors, the images, everything is important, and it has to be fun to work with on a daily basis.
Yeah, that would make it a lot easier for me if it was fun. That's for sure. If it's a chore to use it, then it's not doing its job right, is it? You should be making it slightly easier to flow, I suppose.
Exactly.
I think your problem, Elliot, is that
Which problem are we talking about here, right?
Talking about understanding some of those things. I think having someone like Bastien that is going to be able maybe to explain you a template, I think if he's going to show you something, look, Elliot, this is what I have created. He's going to show you a simple template, but then he's going to explain it to you like, I've created like this just because of this. So that's how it starts, that's how it works, that's what it does. And so once you're going to get those notions, then it's going to be way easier for you. But yeah, if you just sign up, I think if you just sign up to Asana, because I've done it, but for our listeners in Bastien and Elliot, I've tried, I think probably at least 80% of all these project management tools.
You definitely have.
And I couldn't really stop at one. And I've tried to follow the trainings, but it's not easy, right? Even though they are very similar, it's not easy. And if you don't understand it from the beginning, you just at some point just say, fuck it. I'm going to go back to my Excel, or to my Google Sheet or to my OneNote. And yeah, I think it's very important having someone that at least can, the way how I work, I need to see examples, have those examples broken down so I can understand exactly what happened there and how it's being created. And then I can start to understand things and create things on my own. But otherwise, it's difficult for me just to do it from scratch and learn things from scratch.
But I think it's exactly like if you take a tool like PowerPoint, it's easy to create a PowerPoint presentation, but to do one that is actually good with high impact is very hard to do.
Yes,
exactly. Because you can just select a template and you've done it, but then it doesn't necessarily make sense or it works for what you wanted. Exactly the same with Asana. I can do it, looks very nice, but then where do I take it from there? What happens there? How do I connect things between and adding people and all those things?
Yeah. There's projects going on in the business at the moment, and clients and people that we know that are doing projects that I think this could be a really good tool for. In fact, this has been, I would definitely say, is at the top of the list of the ones that we've spoken about recently, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah. That's why I said so. With some of my customers, like I have a customer I'm using Airtable, and with another one I'm using Monday.com. So I think it's again down to personal preference. And from what I've discussed with them, it's not because they haven't chosen those things just because they like them, or it's just because they kind of fed up at some point trying to figure out the right one, and they just chose whatever was there at that point in time. And that's why they've chosen.
Yeah, and especially because Monday.com does so many adverts on Facebook and everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just wait for Monday.com.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. They do. There's if anything, they probably do more ads than anybody else.
They do.
Definitely. But Trello was the one I first heard of. 2 years ago, that was the one I'd heard of before anything else. It's only over the last 6 months, knowing Adrian, us looking at bits and pieces together, that Asana's come up and we've looked at. So we've got this, and you start using Asana. Now, when you've got somebody that you start training them and working with them, and they're starting to get progress, and they're really bought into this. And I've got a feeling that I need to do this, in essence, probably work with you, Bastien, and maybe getting my head around this, because we could help many people. I think we're doing this. We've got projects going on that this could help with clients, without a shadow of a doubt. We've got internal projects that would make life so much easier. The reason I was saying about, that we've got, your outsourcing here and you've got a design team there and things like that. This is in essence what we do at Essex Business Radio and in Forge Management as well. So it's I'm asking from our point of view, because there's people that have got, small to medium sized businesses, and we want to help as many SMEs as possible through the show. And I do think that tools like this are really powerful. And when they're used well, they stop that overwhelm. They stop that confusion. That means every single day you feel like you're moving forward. You're taking steps. Somebody's doing a job, and you haven't necessarily got to keep an eye on them to do that, or ring them up, or send them a message to do that, because it's automatically set up. For me, it's a no-brainer to have a system like this. So, go on.
I think the main benefit of it is the fact that, first of all, you start to understand your business better. You start to understand exactly what's happening and what's working, what's not working, what needs to be improved, and stuff like that. But yeah, sorry, Bastien, go on.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, because you can actually take a step back and look at the processes, because you need to write them down in Asana as a template. So you need to look at the steps And I've seen clients basically say, it's done. I already know my workflow. And I'm like, are you sure? And can you give me the steps? And they're like, they give the steps and then they go back and they're not sure. And they realize that the dependency they actually have are impossible to match. And when you talk to them, they say, oh yeah, you're right. Every single project failed to match that dependency because it's actually not possible.
Yeah.
And if today you manage 10 clients using emails, if you use a tool like Asana, you can have like 20 or 30 clients easily because you have a streamlined process and just people get notified whenever they need to work on something. And you don't have all those emails overflowing everybody's inbox.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, and that's a great point as well. Otherwise it is done by email, and it's very easy for one to go into junk, and you've got to check your junk. I mean, there's so many dropping into junk at the moment from everybody that you lose one or two in that part of the conversation, or the next meeting, or the next progress. But this is a much tidier way, just keeping it all in one place, because you don't need it in your emails, do you? You don't need it there messing everything up.
Well, first of all, it's difficult to keep tracking, I think, with emails and all that. It's difficult to keep knowing exactly the right project and all this. So, and yeah, besides big organizations, I think anyone that's in the entrepreneurship life, right? Or if you find yourself in a position where you say, you tend to forget things a lot, right? And say, I'm really busy, I don't have time for that, I don't have time for that. I think that's just because your time management sucks a bit. And a tool like Asana is going to help you quite a lot. And even if you're the person that has to pay loads of bills and meet with loads of people and stuff like that, Asana probably is going to help you quite a lot with those things as well.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely. The time management is one of the most difficult things to do as a budding entrepreneur, somebody that's starting a business, scaling a business, growing a business, just running a business day to day. And now we've got everything's changed as well. So now we're doing things a lot more remotely, and so this must be even more than it was before. A far more powerful tool than it was prior to lockdown and COVID, for example, because everybody is so far, removed from each other. And it's a good way of bringing everybody together in one place where, you may well have been able to see over a team or see that something's being done. And you're not going to have that so much now. And moving forward, let's face it, that's not going to be the case in a lot of businesses moving forward. In fact, there's a lot of companies that can run their businesses and have their overheads a lot lower. Now they've realized they can run that. So this has got to have changed the amount of people using something like Asana right now. Is that right, Bastien?
Yeah, I've had a couple of more clients during the COVID crisis, especially because people were able to take time to look at the processes they have and improve their workflows. Yeah, because of the lockdown, they just had time to improve things. So I've seen more clients moving towards this kind of project management tool, and they realize they can't have meetings in offices all the time anymore, and they need to have some more asynchronous way of working together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sold on this. I was sold on this before the show, but there's definitely a few things that you've mentioned that I think will resonate with people. The emails, the time management side, keeping a track on things. Look, if you want to micromanage things remotely, that is a fairly good way of doing it, as long as you don't over sort of micromanage, I suppose. But I think that's the key in having it set up right in the first place. So then you don't feel like you need to micromanage, do you? In fact, this could actually probably make quite a few bosses work with their staff better than they did before, because they don't have to micromanage it. If it's scheduled, if things have got to be done at certain times, and you're waiting for somebody else. So while I'm on that, so if for example I had to do something before Adrian, once I've completed my task, it then goes automatically to Adrian to do his role, right?
If it's properly set up, yeah. If you have a dependency between the tasks, it's actually it works like this. If you don't have any dependency, then Adrian can start working whenever he likes. Asana has a My Task view where you have all the tasks assigned to you, and if you put due dates on everything, you can sort by due date and just work on the next thing you need to work on.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I was going to come to that next. Is there sort of a time critical stuff as well that has to be done by certain dates, things like that. So in essence, you can just basically, rather than looking at the whole process and looking at the sort of the flow chart, so to speak, you can just go, well, there's 8 flow charts. Actually, all I've got to do is pull my bits out, and those are the jobs I've got to do. And you can do that, right?
It's already done because it's a My Task view. Everything assigned to you is in My Task, and then the default view is divided in 3 sections: today, upcoming, and later. So you organize your day in the morning. You say, okay, I want to do this today. I want to do this in the upcoming days. And then you can just focus on the few tasks you have for today, and you go boom, 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 and you finish your day. And
wow.
To be honest, that's what I've liked the most about Asana. So when I've done it, even on the free version, that's what I've liked about the fact that you could see what was really important for me, because I have, like, I'm using other project management tools or work management tools and stuff like that, but none of them is showing the to-do today list, as good as Asana. That's how I found it, and that's the most important thing, because I like to focus on the bigger picture, but I would rather do it maybe once a day, just at night or early in the morning, or maybe once a week, and look at the bigger picture. But mainly, I just want to focus on what I have to do today, because if you're a really busy person, those tasks are going to take you most of the day anyway. So that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
What's good is you can actually look at the My Task view of the other people from the company. So you can go to your colleague and you look at his My Task view, and you can see things he prioritized. And if you're angry because he didn't do something for you, you understand, because he has like high priority stuff to do before your stuff.
Okay.
I mean, that's a winner. That is an absolute winner for somebody like myself that has got way too many tasks going on, and too many projects that I would like to do at some stage very, very soon, but actually aren't critical. That's got to be an absolute winner for me. And if that's the case, and you can split that up, then we need to be talking after the show for sure. No, without a shadow of a doubt, because there are. Adrian knows there's a lot going on with what we're doing with not just this show in essence, but with
projects in general, stuff like that. Yeah.
In general, projects for clients internally, and that's the thing, is that we know where we want to be and things that have got to be done, but aren't time critical. But my problem is, and this is the problem that I believe a lot of entrepreneurs have, that creative side takes over sometimes. It's way easier to think about creating something that needs to be done in maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months' time than it is to think about the things that have got to be done right now that are making you feel anxious and uncomfortable because you don't like doing them. Whereas I think chunking it down and going, okay, these things are critical. These need to be done now, and you don't see anything else. That allows you to focus and get organized. And I think that's a winning formula. I do like that. And if that's the case, then this definitely is over and above better than anything else that we've looked at. And I haven't really looked at Asana properly, to be fair, out of all of them. So I think we're going to be taking a very close look at this for sure.
Yes.
I just want to ask you something. So, Bastien, am I right saying that a tool like Asana, it's like maybe the best accountability partner that you can have if it's set up correctly?
Accountability for your team, you mean?
For you, first of all, and for the team as well. Just because it's going to keep you responsible and organized with all the things that you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. And what's great about Asana is they decided that a task has a single assignee. You can't assign something to a team that doesn't exist.
You're off a bit, just a second. Don't worry.
Sorry. So you assign a task to one person only. You can't assign to several people, because in reality, if you assign to several people at the same time, things don't get done. You need to assign to a single person. And that's the accountability they built into Asana. You have one assignee for one task, you have one due date, and you know exactly who needs to do what by when. And that's the accountability you get from Asana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. And you know, let's go. I mean, let's talk about money. Why if that's okay with you. So, what sort of costings are we talking about for things like this? Because what I'm interested in do is sort of weigh this up against having a PA or something like that. Because somebody might go, oh well, my PA does that. I've got an assistant that helps you with that. I've got an admin person that helps you with these things. But what sort of costs are we talking about for the different levels of this, Bastien?
So you mean for Asana, the tool? How much does it cost?
Yeah.
I'm going to have a look at the latest pricing. I think it's going to be in euros.
That's fine.
No, it's in dollars. So I think you have different plans. You have the free one, premium, business, and then you have enterprise. Yeah. I think with premium, you can do quite a lot of stuff with the premium. And then it costs about $11 per person per month.
Okay. Per user per month, yeah. Because usually those tools are you pay them per user per month, yeah.
And I think you need to put that in regards to the time you save. All the emails you don't send anymore, all the time spending looking through the emails, all the time saved leaving a meeting without remembering who needs to do what. So it's just all about time saving and energy and clarity that you get within the company. So I think it's really worth it.
So for example, let's say we were all working together, Bastien, then it would be $11 per person to do one project. But you can do as many projects as you like. Is that how it works? I mean, what sort of limitations do you have?
Yeah, you're basically buying seats. So people from the company are sitting inside a seat that you paid for, and when they do, they can use the premium features of the tool.
Okay, and so unlimited projects going on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
Tasks as well and stuff like that. Yeah.
And it's also good to know that you don't pay for guests. So, for example, if you're working with freelancers or clients, they can come in the tool as a guest, and you don't pay seats for them. They're guests. They have less features available, but they can do quite a lot of stuff. So you can actually collaborate with them without paying for them.
So really, the main people within the company are the people that you're paying for then. The freelancers, you're sort of not.
So technically, it's anyone with the email address from the company. Anyone logging in with a company email address will be. You will have to pay for them, and all the others are guests.
So I don't think that's stupid money. To be fair, if you think about the that's not a ridiculous amount of money.
But then it also takes time to set up properly, and if you hiring someone like me also takes a bit of money to set up things properly. But I think in the long run, it's really worth it.
Yeah, definitely, because you can just look at what you do like this. We cannot hire you and try to do it ourselves, so that means we're going to spend maybe at least a month trying to figure things out. And obviously depends how much we value our time, but in that month probably we won't do that much. Or let's say even if you spend about 2-3 hours per day trying to figure it out, times 20 days, it kind of gets there to a lot about between 40
and the thing is you might be doing some mistakes, and you just realize in 3 or 6 months, and it would have been better to do that right from the start.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. And also like the question that you've asked, Elliot, just like we said before, let's say we have a company and we have 5 project managers, it's going to be us plus those 5 project managers, in the tool that we're going to pay for, and then they can decide to bring guests in or stuff like that. But
yeah. Oh well, listen, I'm definitely sold on this. We're definitely going to be having a chat afterwards. Listen, and I really appreciate your time, and I think it's a really good insight into this as well. And I think we probably need to be doing a couple of the shows, maybe even going through some bits and showing people on the screen exactly how that works. So anyway, that's something we can do with you, Bastien, at some stage, maybe.
Yeah, probably explain the template, let's say, So even we can take the wedding template that you've done, and if we can explain people how that has been done and why it could help them, I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do that now?
No, not now. We'll maybe do another show maybe at some stage if you fancy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure. I think these. Listen, I think these are great tools. I think they're incredible tools. I think they're necessary tools in the new world of business. They were necessary before. I think they're even more necessary now. And we're very much about remote working, and we're definitely moving forward and working with the new world of business. I don't think we all have to be in same offices and buildings. Where both Adrian and I are in completely different countries, as are you, Bastien. So absolute proof that we can do things like this, and we can all work together as well, seamlessly if it's done right. So I think I'd love to revisit this. Where can people find you, Bastien, if they do want to take you on and they want to find out a little bit more about what you do, and if they're looking to take on Asana? And you're clearly the number one guy on the planet for doing this. So where can they find you, Bastien?
You can actually go to my website, minimalistwork.com, minimalist-work.com, which is a website with a combination of my two passions, productivity and minimalism. And you can find everything I do around Asana, the books I've written and the tools I've created, and also the consulting sessions you can have there.
Very cool. Well, we'll make sure there's a link put around the podcast and on YouTube as well. Thanks very much for joining us, Bastien. It's been
thank you. It has been nice.
Adrian, good insight.
Okay. Well, very good. I would have way more questions to ask, Bastien. But yeah. Because this is one of my favorite topics, going even very deep into those. I'm sure you probably connect Zapier or Integromat with Asana and do other things with them. Yeah, so that's a bit more advanced topic.
Well, listen, maybe we'll touch base on that, and if anybody's got any questions, of course, about that, and they do want to ask that on another show, then I'm sure we can arrange something with Bastien. We'll get a show done, and we'll have that, because I think this is a great topic, and I think it's going to help a lot of people just like me that get overwhelmed and just
like everyone. Trust me, it's useful for everyone. Everyone that has quite a few tasks in their day or projects going on, and Bastien gave the best example: a wedding. You don't really think about that. Something like, again, that would have helped me probably, and I should have done it. I've moved into a different country, so I had to sort everything out, like the bills, whether I was there, packing, and all those kind of stuff. Maybe a tool like Asana could have helped me. But just before we go, just for people to know, Asana is a tool that you can use pretty much usually on every device. No, it doesn't really matter. You can use it on a laptop, PC, MacBook, iPad.
They do have an app for iPhone and Android as well, and you can use it on the desktop as well. Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Bastien. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on the show. If you want to know more about Bastien, then we'll make sure there's links around this, of course, or make sure you watch this back if you've been watching it on YouTube. If you have, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, make sure you get alerted when we're coming on and we're doing a live. We have gone across 7 platforms this evening, so we're on 4 or 5 different Facebook profiles. We're on YouTube, Twitter as well, and you can find Essex Business Radio across all of those platforms, including Instagram as well. On Twitter, it's Essex Biz Radio, BIZZ. And make sure you download the app as well, the Essex Business Radio app, when we're going to be getting all the new podcasts going up over the next week. And for the next month, we're going to have quite a few of the lives. In fact, 85% of the lives are going to go and be turned into audio podcasts, and so check those out. There's going to be loads of stuff going on. We're going to be getting Bastien back. I'm looking forward to that, to talk about this again. If you want to know more, you can either get in touch with us and get in touch with Bastien, and we'll happily pass his details over. It's been incredible. I love this. It's really, really informative. I'm itching to get to because there's I need to use it, right? So we'll have a chat. But thanks very much, everybody, for watching, listening, and we're going to catch you tomorrow at 9 p.m. again. Come and check us out and see who we've got on the show. Look out for social media, and we'll let you know tomorrow afternoon who's coming on. But otherwise, for now, we're going to say ciao for now.
Brown cow.
Bye.